Hello and welcome back to our cottage garden. It's the start of February and it's so good to be back making videos, I cannot tell you. We would have liked to have shown you around in January, but things have been absolutely insane. I am working way too much and need to sort that out. But we're back, it's February and I can show you around, and to be honest, you didn't miss an awful lot in January. Things were quite slow and sleepy and the weather wasn't great. So it's been really mild here. We haven't had a lot of frosts like you might expect for this time of year. It's been very rainy, as you can tell. We've had to time this video between clouds of rain that have been blowing over, but the positive side of it being mild is things like snowdrops and hellebores are very much flowering at the moment and looking lovely. So I'm really excited to show you those. The ducks are still out, as you can probably hear, and they're really pleased about that. I will have to think about how I'm going to keep them off my mini meadow that's in front of me if they're not going into a flock down. Normally their flock down is quite convenient because it means when my crocuses and snowdrops are flowering, the ducks are just locked away, but they are very much trampling things at the moment. And the snowdrops that we have had flower in the lawn get flattened within a few minutes of popping up.
This video is sponsored by Beaufort and Blake, who have kindly sent some items from their spring collection for me to wear in the garden today. The spring collection is lightweight, but it's also lovely and warm, so it's perfect for these upcoming spring days in the garden. The first item I chose was this Byberry Blush gingham shirt, and it's made of 100% brushed cotton and it's such a beautiful soft texture. It's really lovely and cozy. I also chose this honeysuckle peak and rugby shirt, which again is lovely heavy cotton, and I paired it with these suede charcoal mum jeans. And these jeans are so versatile and so comfy, I know I'm going to get a lot of wear out of them this year. Here are some of the beautiful details on that rugby shirt. One of my favourite items at Beaufort and Blake are these gorgeous cord shirts, and this one is in Stroud Maple, and I paired this with the Haddington mum jeans. And I love these cord shirts. They're amazing and thick, so they're perfect for these days that are on the colder side when we still want to be out here doing some gardening. And finally, I chose the Colmore Maple striped long sleeve tee, and I absolutely love the length of the sleeves on this one. It feels so nice and cozy. Make sure you visit the description on this video where you can find a code for 15% off at Beaufort and Blake.
I thought we would start here because this is the bed with the most winter interest. So you can see I'm growing hellebores here and they are underplanted with snowdrops. The snowdrops aren't anything too exciting if you're a snowdrop enthusiast. They are mostly just G. nivalis, which is this one you can see here. I have a couple of double petaled ones, so that is Galanthus floripleno, and then these rich green leaves are Warranawi, which I didn't necessarily mean to grow in this bed. I prefer to grow these ones in the grass because the colour matches the colour of the lawn quite nicely, so I might move those. But the hellebores are amazing, and this is the absolute star of the show. It has been raining, so it's a bit droopy, but normally this plant is amazing at standing upright and showing us these gorgeous yellow flowers. And all of these hellebores are hybrids. That's my preference for hellebores because you get a really long flowering time. They flower from December all the way into March sometimes, so they are absolutely incredible. And this one is from Ashwood Nurseries, and it's one of their new evolution varieties, and these are really, really special if you can get your hands on them. They have gorgeous bright colours. You can get yellows, you can get pinks, and they stand really, really upright, so compared to a lot of hellebores that have a tendency to droop over, these are really, really showy and amazing, and you can get them in these neon colours, which is really cool. So I was really drawn to this yellow one, and I also love the way the stems look like rhubarb. They're a beautiful pink colour, which I haven't really seen on any of my other hellebores so far. So I've got 4 plants that are quite established in this bed, 2 that are very small and just managing to push some leaves through the soil. We'll give those a couple of years. Oh no, 3 small plants I can see now. I have ordered another batch of these from Ashwood Nurseries, and I've spent quite a small fortune on them, but I just think they're the most amazing thing, and actually they are probably one of the things that I look forward to the most in the garden. January and February are such kind of dull and unexciting months. If you can grow something that you really, really love that time of year, it's such a blessing. So I will continue to build up my stock of hellebores and continue to enjoy them. So I think I've ordered about 6 more plants, big ones, so about this size, and all in amazing neon colours, so yellows, oranges, peachy colours, and I can't wait to show you those when they arrive. We are still waiting. Fingers crossed they'll have some flowers on when they arrive so I can show you them. The other hellebores that we have in here Although I don't know the names of them, again, they're hybrids, so they flower for a really long time and they flower nice and early. And this one here was actually one plant that I bought last year that was so root bound, I cut it in half. So this is actually half a plant, such good value for money. So the other half of this one is planted at the top there behind me. But I think this area I will continue to build up. I'm going to add another lot of hellebores so that we get a real kind of wow factor. And I will continue to divide these clumps of snowdrops. So most of these went in last year, which is why there aren't too many of them. And obviously with snowdrops, the aim is to have lovely swathes of them as an understory to the hellebores, and we're getting there. It just takes a bit of time, but I'm really pleased with how much progress we've had just in 1 year of starting this bed, and it's going to be onwards and upwards. These hellebores will get bigger, they'll get more showy, the snowdrops will spread, and I will add a few more things to it as well. The reason that I planted this winter bed here is because it's a bed that I can see from the house. So when the weather's bad in the winter, sometimes I can't get myself out in the garden or it's completely unappealing, but I can still look out the window and enjoy these. So I can see most of these from the kitchen or from the bathroom. While I'm making dinner or having a snack, I can just have a look outside and see these, and it really brightens my day. And that is sort of the method that I garden by, is stuff that flowers earlier in the year goes closer to the house, because if the weather's bad, I don't have to venture as far up the garden. And then stuff that flowers in summer will go right at the top of the garden because the weather's going to be nicer and I'm more likely to be outside. So this is the other area in which I'm growing some hellebores. Hi duckies! Hi! You can see the ducks are very much trampling the bulbs in the lawn, but they're having a great time. So again, lots of these are hybrid hellebores. I'm not doing a particular colour scheme because I find each plant so fascinating in its own right. I don't want to lose out on potential things to grow by coordinating them. So I tend to stick to the hybrids, but any colour is welcome because I think each one is so unique and amazing. This dark red one is looking incredible at the moment. The only one that I'm growing in this particular area that isn't a hybrid is this holly-leaved hellebore, and I really love this. I know it's not quite as pretty as the other plants, but because it has these gorgeous pale green flowers, they are quite striking, and a really beautiful lime colour. It's more kind of wild looking. A few of the plants are on the smaller side, so they're not too showy. So I'd say there's only 4 plants up here that are quite established. And this year I did take the mature leaves off the plants so that they look a bit more showy when they're flowering, and it was really worth it. They look absolutely stunning. So do follow along and we can watch the hellebores as they continue to grow, and hopefully next year's display will be even more impressive after we've added some more plants. So in front of me is the mini meadow, and what's going on here at the moment is I am trying to naturalise snowdrops in the lawn. The variety that I'm naturalising is Warranawi because it has these amazing big green leaves that kind of match the colour of the grass. The leaves are absolutely huge though. I'd say one problem is after the plants have flowered, the leaves are ginormous, and I think they won't look super pretty as they start to crisp over and die back. So that's something that I'm going to be watching over the next few weeks and possibly regretting, we will see. But I added hundreds of these in the autumn, and it looks like this year we've had a lot of success. Not every bulb has flowered, but I think most of them has sent up a leaf, which is amazing because it means next year hopefully they will flower, and then over time they'll continue to spread. Last winter's flowering display was quite poor, but this is a good start, and I think this will just get better over the years, so I'm really happy with this. Again, onwards and upwards, and something to look forward to. I will have to section this area off somehow from the ducks, and I've ordered some natural willow canes from a farm nearby, so I'll probably do some kind of decorative fence around it just to keep the ducks off. We've also had a little bit of an issue with a mole. You can see there's a molehill in front of me. I've cleared up about 6 of them in the grass already, but he's been really happy and popping up all over the place. Not too much damage as far as the bulbs are concerned, but it's just a case of moving the soil off the lawn when he does appear. But we don't really mind. We're quite happy to have wildlife living here, and it's their home as well, so we're happy to live with them. We've also had some really gorgeous Iris reticulata flowering that I've planted in the borders. So those flower really, really early. I think they were flowering end of January. We've still got a few to pop up because I planted some of them late. And there is an entire border of them down in front of me that I think I planted about 300 bulbs perhaps. It was a lot, and I'm hoping to see some flowers from those. It is a time of year where life really feels like it's starting to return, and if you look around you can see bulbs popping up everywhere. I can see loads of bluebell foliage here, tulip foliage coming up in the beds around me. There's a few alliums that are starting to push through the soil. My cutting tulip patch is finally emerging. So everything is exciting and there's life appearing, and it's just a case of waiting. I have also sectioned off my crocus lawn from the dogs now because those have started to flower kind of sporadically. The best display of crocuses will probably be the end of this month, the start of March. So we've still got about 3 weeks to go until it looks amazing, but I have kept it clear of the dogs just to keep it clean, and I will keep my eyes on that every day. Another thing that Aaron and myself did was finally clean the greenhouse and the polytunnel, and it really needed a clean this year. I think because it's been so rainy and warm, the algae just went completely nuts, and it was the greenest I've ever seen the polytunnel for sure. I started cleaning it by hand, and it was so much work and I couldn't get the algae off. We ended up buying a pressure washer and it was quite revolutionary, so much easier to clean. So we managed to get the polytunnel done and we've started on the greenhouse. We also cleaned things like our water butt and the fences around the garden. And then off the back of that, we accidentally blasted loads of paint off the fence. So I had to repaint it quickly. But even in doing that, I realised that it did really need painting. It was quite therapeutic to get out here with a paintbrush and to try and not be too perfectionist about it. I'm someone that wants to welcome in a kind of homemade feel to the garden. So if you're a painter or a decorator and you're offended by the paint job on the fence, please don't be. It's fine and it's homemade. And then finally, the thing that I need to consider is starting my seeds, things like tomatoes and aubergines and those heat-loving plants that needed to get started early. I am really behind this year, and I think I might have kind of an experimental year. Hi, babes. What was I saying? I might have an experimental year where I start things a little bit later and see if they can catch up. I don't really see a way that I'm going to be super organised about things, but I'll be able to do seed swaps with my neighbour and my mother-in-law, so that will help a little bit too. But while I've got this big project on the go, it's going to be really hard to keep up with the garden timeline that I like to. Usually I would start my heat-loving plants in heated propagators with grow lights inside the house. I may not even do that at all this year. I might just go straight to the greenhouse and sow at the end of March or when it's looking like there's not going to be any frosts. But if you've got a obscure seed start to the year as well, do let me know what you're doing, or if you have any success stories about starting late and it's still going well, please share. I would love to feel inspired. But until the crocuses come up, I think that's more or less all of our updates from the garden. Next month's tour should be really, really lovely because these crocuses will be flowering and we'll get a lot more life from the mini meadow in front of me, and it will just get better and better from then on. So make sure to subscribe if you'd love to see the flowers in the next few weeks, and we will catch up with you again soon. Thanks for watching.